Yo, what is up guys? Stelboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So Joshua Buatsi defeats Willy Hutchinson by a split decision to win the WBO interim light heavyweight title. First and foremost, I do think this was a really fun fight to watch, competitive, enjoyable, but a split decision. I don't see how anybody could score this fight for Willy Hutchinson. Had a lot of moments, showed some great heart, showed moments of quality, but overall, for me, there was no way he won this fight. He was kind of outfought by Buatsi, particularly in the second half. Was dropped twice, had a point deducted for leading with his head, and all that put together, man. I don't see a way you can score this fight for Hutchinson. So yeah, the split decision was a little bit strange, but overall the fight itself was good. I actually expected Buatsi to win this fight more comfortably. Hutchinson kind of surprised me with his toughness and the success he did have. You know, I expected him to have a few moments early on, but I kind of felt Buatsi's physicality would result in Buatsi getting a stoppage, but that wasn't the case, man. He was close on a few occasions, but Hutchinson stayed strong and went the distance. Again, good fight by both men, enjoyable. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. Best fight on the card so far. First sort of 5 rounds of this fight was nip and tuck. When there was space between these two, Hutchinson on the outside was doing a better job, in my opinion. Aside from Buatsi's jab, which was causing Hutchinson problems, on the outside, Hutchinson was the guy who was putting his shots together. The 1-2, the 1-2-1, the 1-2-3 left hook. Hutchinson was kind of throwing those rat-a-tat-tat sort of combinations, shoe-shine combinations from the outside, and Buatsi's guard was a little porous at times, in my opinion. Those shots were getting through, and when Hutchinson had time and space, he was doing okay. But the moments where Buatsi was starting to get physical, where he collapsed the pocket, you could see the difference in strength, you could see the difference in punch power, and Buatsi on the inside was much more capable, working the body really well, coming over the top with the hook. At times he was turning around Hutchinson while working. Much better inside work from Buatsi, better on the outside from Hutchinson in the first 5. After 5 rounds, I think Tony Bellew had it 3-2 to Hutchinson. I would agree with that. It was nip and tuck. Both guys were having success, but one thing I felt, and one thing I felt was key going into this fight, despite Hutchinson having success in the first half, and throughout this fight, the technical, I would say the basic fundamentals of Buatsi would see him through, because I think a lot of people are going to watch these two guys fight and they'll say Hutchinson is more naturally talented and he's got better fundamentals just because he boxes and moves and is a bit flashy. I actually disagree. I think Buatsi has better fundamentals. This was a hard fight for both men, and you could see as both men were flagging, it was Buatsi who was maintaining the fundamentals, keeping a guard. Despite being tagged up at times, he was still keeping a shape, he was keeping a guard, he was keeping his jab going. He maintained better balance than Hutchinson as this fight got harder and harder, whereas for Hutchinson, he kind of became really loose, really ragged in his work, very uncoordinated on his feet. And partly, of course, that is conditioning and stamina, things like that, but it also comes down to the fundamentals. Buatsi has better basic fundamentals than Willy Hutchinson, just in terms of things like balance, keeping your shape, things like that. And in a hard fight, that's going to show through, and I felt it did in this fight. You have a guy in Buatsi who, there's no bells or whistles attached to Buatsi. What he does is what he does. It's not amazing, but it's consistent. Whereas Hutchinson, when he's fresh, can move. He can fire off some kind of eye-catching combos. But a lot of it is based on speed, a lot of it is based on athleticism, and not necessarily based on technical prowess. And I felt you saw that in the first half of this fight. When both guys were fresh, Hutchinson's movement, his speed, etc. His awkwardness was giving Buatsi trouble. But as both guys tired, I felt Buatsi then came on top. Not only I think is he stronger and probably has a better gas tank, I just think he's got better fundamentals, basic fundamentals overall. And in the second half of this fight, Buatsi took over, in my opinion. Buatsi dropped Hutchinson in round 6 with a series of body shots. I believe it was a right hand to the body that started it all, but Hutchinson got caught to the body. He was reeling, he backed up, and Buatsi then came back with a series of punches, several to the body, kind of bundled over Hutchinson, but Hutchinson kind of found the canvas on his own accord. Definite knockdown, but Hutchinson beats the count and sees the round out. Hutchinson in round 7 had a really good round, actually threw down with Buatsi, landed a series of good shots, great combinations on Buatsi. There was a moment where he kind of stood Buatsi on his head and just blitzed him with a series of shots, but he then got too close and tried to create separation, and he used his head to get separation, and the referee at this point deducted a point from Hutchinson because it was so blatant, and he was warned earlier as well about head use. So he kind of undone his own work there, Hutchinson. Really good moment for Hutchinson in round 7. But after the point deduction, he had a couple of more good moments. I felt he won round 7, Willy Hutchinson. After that, I felt it was nip and tuck, but Buatsi was on top. The physicality of Buatsi, the bodywork of Buatsi, the more clean work on the inside. I felt Buatsi's work was taking a toll on Willy Hutchinson, whereas when Hutchinson did have success, and he did in the second half of this fight also, he had success, but for me, when Buatsi took those shots, he kind of walked through them. Like, it never looked like he was in trouble or anything like that. There was a few times when he had to reset and whatnot, but the shots from Hutchinson were more like get-off-me shots, although flashy at times, but they never really had any consequence behind them. And as a result, Buatsi just kept marching forwards, working the body, coming over the top with the overhand right, sometimes standing up Hutchinson with the jab, and the pressure of Buatsi wasn't really halted in the second half of this fight. Hutchinson won a couple of rounds in the second half, but not enough. Hutchinson was also dropped later on, was it round 10 or round 11? One of the 2 rounds. More body work from Buatsi. Left hook to the solar plexus, drops Hutchinson again. Hutchinson beats the count, tries to fight through it. He sees the round out. I think it was round 10. And yeah, brave showing by Hutchinson. To Hutchinson's credit, he tried to finish the fight strong, tried to fight fire with fire in the last 2 rounds, especially round 12. He definitely won round 12. Really opened up on Buatsi, landed some good combinations, outworked Buatsi, there's no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, fight ended, 12 rounds. I felt the right man won the decision. I felt Buatsi won this fight. I felt his pressure was more effective than Hutchinson's kind of boxing, I'd say. Plus the 2 knockdowns, etc. I felt Buatsi was more effective. Not sure how you can get a split decision. Hutchinson kind of surprised me with his performance, I'll be honest. I kind of expected Hutchinson to get stopped, but he saw himself through it, and I think he made some fans in this fight. Buatsi, defensively at times, guilty of switching off. I mean, to be honest with you, if Hutchinson had sort of consequential power, Buatsi might have been in trouble tonight because he was getting tagged up from the outside, and that's been a theme throughout Buatsi's career. He fights with a guard and he has good shape, but his guard gets split way too easily. And he has these weird moments where he'll just switch off. It's like, if you're playing Xbox, it's like you've run out of charge on your controller. That's what it looks like at times. And there was moments in this fight where he just switched off, getting caught by silly shots. Buatsi's good. Buatsi is strong, he's aggressive, he's got basic fundamentals. He's good, but I don't see the X factor in going to the next level, to be honest with you, against guys who can really punch and, make you pay and whatnot. I think he's a good fighter, but I don't see the X factor with Buatsi. Good fight, a win for Buatsi. He's WBO interim champion, but we'll see what he does next. Same for Hutchinson as well. Maybe we could see Willy Hutchinson versus Anthony Yard, something like that. We'll see. Anyway, good fight though. I enjoyed it. We'll see what both guys do next. Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.